In this flint knapping video, we're going to do something different. It's going to be a bit of a blend of old and modern technology. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make arrowheads using lapidary equipment like rock saws and diamond grinders. And this is the one that I'll be using today. This is a little 6-inch diamond saw that I bought. I bought it a year ago. And I know there are probably some purists out there who are going to be screaming, well, people didn't have that in ancient times. That's true, they didn't have access to a diamond saw. I have learned how to make arrowheads using the old technique, knocking flakes off of big pieces, chipping it out with the old traditional antler tools. I've been doing that for years. Like I said, I only got this rock saw a year ago, so I have a lot of skill, a lot of technique, and a lot of experience doing it the old way. However, some of the stone that you can buy nowadays is exotic, it's colorful, it's rare, and it's expensive. So I actually embrace being able to use modern technology like this to maximize your yield, because pretty stone like that is a limited resource, so you don't want to waste it. So in this video, we're going to get to cutting up some slabs of agate with this saw, and I'll show you how to grind them out using a diamond grinder, and then with that technique you can make some exquisite arrow points. These slabs of Brazilian agate are perfect for the little lapidary saw. You can carefully cut the agate to maximize the material so you can get many more points out of this colorful stone. I wear glasses to protect my eyes from flying chips and also hearing protection because the saw can be somewhat loud when it's being used. I keep a constant spray of water on the saw blade to keep it cool and prolong its life. I rigged this small tube to a coupler that fits on my garden hose so I have a constant stream of clean water spraying on the blade. I keep constant gentle pressure on the piece of stone so the blade can cut through it at a slow but steady pace. My water-cooled 6-inch diamond grinder is great for shaping small to medium-sized arrowheads and spear point preforms. The wheel is coated with industrial diamonds. I grind the corners of the slab first so each side of the point has an even, slightly rounded profile. Harder agate and flint will take longer to grind to shape compared to softer materials like glass, opalite, and obsidian. The other side of the grinder has a rubber expanding drum with a flexible abrasive belt over it. This softer wheel allows finer edge work without the risk of chipping the edge, which is a common problem when using the harder diamond wheel. Now that I got a couple of blanks ground out, I'm going to make some points out of these things. You got to be pretty careful and set your edges up correctly because there's not a whole lot of shaping that needs to be done on these. A lot of them have a lot of the mass already taken off of them, so we're going to have to be pretty careful with our edge preparation, and our support is going to have to be good because a lot of the mass is reduced, so it is easy to break these in half if you're not careful. But with these ground preforms, you can create some exquisite arrow points with beautiful flake scars. So let's get started. The tips of your pressure flakers must be kept sharp because you are essentially skipping ahead to the final series of flakes, and you want precise pressure when chipping these points. Okay, let's start with this one. And basically just parallel pressure flaking. You're going to try to apply force evenly across that entire edge, or down the entire edge, so that you're driving pressure flakes that will, I've already biffed up that edge a little bit, so I'm going to have to come up here There we go. Once we get that edge set up, get those flakes to travel, it's just one right after the other. Get this beautiful rippled flake scar pattern. Yeah, those flakes are really traveling. You can see they're almost halfway across the face of that. Okay, we've run a series of flakes all the way down this edge. Now we're going to come back on the other side and drive them the other way. Here's that little screamer I just made out of that agate. This stuff for some reason was not as glassy as I'd hoped. I cooked it, but maybe I need to take it to a higher temperature. But it was a little bit grainier and tougher than I was hoping it would be, but I was able to fight this little one out of there. Cool little screamer point though, got really fine barbs, fine serrated edges, real sharp needle tip. Got some cool translucent banding through it. About the bottom 2/3 of it's got red and orange stripes, looks like tree rings in it. So that's what you can make with these when you do those ground out preforms. Cut them out with a rock saw and then grind them like you saw me do. But it's a beautiful little point. Wow. All of these blanks have been ground and shaped to various degrees. Smooth, slightly rounded and even surfaces on both faces of the blank will ensure the best parallel pressure flaking patterns. Once the surfaces and edges have been prepared, careful pressure flaking in succession will produce beautifully rippled flake scars. This uniquely shaped tool was patterned after one my friend Brad Bauman made. The copper rod was pounded flat and shaped into a rounded profile, then inserted into a wooden handle. It's pressed against the edge of the point and rocked forward so the side of the copper gently crushes tiny flakes off the edge. This sets up the edges with steep bevels in preparation for another series of even pressure flakes. Then the edges are gently ground with a gritty quartzite stone, and another series of pressure flakes are pressed off the other side of the point. When making extremely delicate points of brittle material like glass or obsidian, support is critical. Here I'm pinching the tip of the point between my thumb and forefinger while carefully removing a series of very fine pressure flakes.
Once I work my way towards the base of the point, I put my leather pad on a flat piece of wood that rests in my palm, and I use that for flat, even support when removing larger pressure flakes. That minimizes bending stresses that can commonly snap points like this in half. I often use the same pinching support technique I showed earlier when I'm notching my points. Careful edge preparation inside the notch is critical because you don't have room for error. Keeping your tools sharp and in good working order is also very important during this critical step. Experienced flint knapping skill combined with colorful, beautiful stone can result in arrowheads of exquisite beauty.